piece of shit. Are we working now? Are we actually fucking working? Oh, man. Let's see. Actually, I think that I am live right now. Holy shit. It finally worked. It finally worked, but let's see. Let's see how good this connection is. I have to do a whole different streaming service here. Have to redo everything just to make this work. Very, very angry in the morning. As three streams in a row, completely wrecked. Great job by my internet company. Great job by my streaming companies. Great job by myself, just screwing everything up. The worst, man, the worst. But I think it's a little bit better now. I think we've actually finally figured out the issues. It looks like we actually even have some people coming in back as well, which is good. Thank you for sticking with me. I know it's really annoying. It's extremely annoying for myself. You have no idea how mad this makes me. When things don't work as they're supposed to work, I get the most mad. I get the most fucking mad of all time. That's the thing that triggers me like crazy. But enough about that. Enough ranting for a morning. We can actually get into some actual discussions here. Looks like we're still kind of on time as well. I need to make sure that I send out the right links for all of the right places here. Maybe sent out like five new stream links at this point. Again, I really apologize for the issues with this. It is what it is, but luckily we'll be leaving here soon. With any luck, our flights won't be canceled again. I actually tried to leave. I tried to leave, but the flights got canceled. So I've actually rebooked flights. So hopefully this is the last time that we actually have to deal with this nonsense for a long time, for a very, very long time. This is just so aggravating. Anyways, yeah. Seems like a lot of people join on in. That's good. We'll give it some more time. Again, I do apologize for those issues, but I want to make sure that everyone's kind of on the same page here. So I want to start this all at the same time, and so we'll just, I don't know, we'll give it like 5 minutes or so. Shoot the shit in the meantime. See what sort of people are in here. I see King Cosmic, an OG of this cave. That's always good to see. Mr. Peepoo, a great name. Bear Nutrition, he's got the coffee. Thank God. I need some coffee myself this morning. I got my only good coffee in Dubai from Arabica right here with me, which comes in a nice plastic bottle, so you know that I'm getting plastic all in my balls and all other tissues of my body as well. Another just great thing about being here. Always plastic going in all portions of my body, causing all sorts of inflammations and inflation. I'm getting inflation in myself too. Will my price go up? Nobody knows. King Cosmic says, hey, I'm an OG now. I think you've been an OG for a while, man. You've been here since at least 2019 or 2020, I believe. Or at least 2021. Bro, come back to Cali. I would love to come back to California if it wasn't California. I would actually really, really love to take us to San Diego, but I don't know, man. The laws there just seem so crazy. Yes, we should go to Alcatraz. That would be a good one. 3 streams in one night. Exactly, man. We're really outdoing ourselves today. I'm just making sure that it looks like things are actually working better here. So that is good. I actually had to switch a lot of things around. I guess that is just what it has to be for today. But like I said, in the future, we should hopefully not be having this issue because we'll actually be going back to Finland very, very soon. Like I said, we tried to leave. We tried to leave Dubai. They canceled our flights. They said, you can't leave. You can't leave. And you know what else you can't do? You can't fucking complain, as I let someone earlier know. In fact, the rule is no complaining. No complaining allowed. Also, no girls allowed. So Elsie needs to get the fuck out of here as well. She came back into the room here, and, well, that's off limits, baby. Anyways, I haven't gotten a 100,000 or 20K call from Saint Anna. Oh, yeah. Well, I figure now that Bitcoin's down about 5% from the highs, it's back to $20,000. So somewhere in there, man. We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, though. Hey, what's up, Mr. Farhan? Good morning. Finally made it for a live stream again. Fuck yeah. I understand that you are deep there in the U.S., so it's probably the dead of night right now. Yeah, man. I'm really trying to find a good place place, like a good place for the winter that has good US times, because I understand that most people in this community are from the US, or at least from the western portion of this world. So that sort of time zone seems to work really, really well, which funnily enough, you know what time zones or what places actually work well with that would be Thailand and Australia. Both actually have pretty good timelines lining up with the Western Hemisphere in terms of stream times. And then, of course, obviously, we could just come back to America as well. I suppose that is possible. Looks like Florida is also on the list. Laura P says, "I'm a girl. I'm staying. Prove it." Of course not. Everyone's a female on the internet. We always know. Orlando fellas, shit rules. Yeah, I hear a lot of good things about Orlando. Hear a lot of good things about Florida in general. NYC needs to be warmer, man. Needs to be warmer. And actually, I don't really like New York City. I do like Chicago, but I don't really like New York City. Anyways, Argentina under Malay. It could be interesting. Argentina actually used to be like the jewel of Southern America. I think it was called like the Paris of South America, or something like that. It used to be like one of the premier cities, really, of the world. So we'll see how it kind of comes back, because it seems like Mr. Malay he's been doing some really great things. I actually listened to an interview with him on Lex Friedman's podcast. It's amazing that these world leaders, okay, maybe not a world leader, but a country leader, just goes on like a 3-hour-long podcast with, not a random podcaster, but a podcaster, and just kind of lays things out, and you get to really hear straight from the fucking goat himself, how he thinks that things works and his sort of ideas on things. Go with CryptoFace to Arizona. CryptoFace is in Arizona. Oh man, maybe we do go to Arizona. I'd like to meet up with him. He seems like a cool guy. I've been speaking with him a little bit on Twitter as well. We're into the same shit, which is actually quite funny. But yeah, I'm curious what area he lives in. I was looking at Scottsdale. It's actually a quite nice area. Would be nice, however, to have some water around us though. But I guess we could trade water for mountains. That would also be quite cool. Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Wait, what? for the Moon Boys, yes. But it is crazy, man. It does seem to me that in America now, the places of like high interest are not just for myself, but for many people, are now Florida, Texas to a lesser extent, and then Arizona, which I would have never thought Arizona would be on that. I definitely get Florida and maybe kind of Texas, but Arizona seems so popular now, so popular. Anyways, Elsa did get your super chats. I've been sent them. Go to a stream with Jason P. Maybe if we go to Australia looks pretty damn cool, man. I like that, Mr. Tim. Good stuff. Yeah, San Diego is an absolutely beautiful place. I think San Diego is not just the best place in California, but it might be one of the best places in the United States, or it is definitely one of the best places in the United States. Just I don't know about staying there long term, man. I don't know about buying a house there. You know what California wants to do? I don't know if maybe they've already done this, but you will actually get an exit tax if you leave California, if you have a certain net worth amount. Which is just fucking insane, isn't it? I mean, that is really, really draconian, at least in my opinion. It's like you can't leave, and if you do leave, we're going to take some of your money as well. Not that we already, didn't take your money with all these fucking extra taxes living in California, but hey, it is what it is, I guess. It's worth dealing with politics on the West Coast because of the beauty. I do get that argument for sure. It's like, what's the point of having all of this money if you don't live where you want to fucking live? Yeah, I definitely get that. But I mean, I feel like there might be another place that just is better. Australia was awesome in the 80s. What is it like now? Is it not awesome? Place where Jason looks pretty cool. Anyways, Solomon Park says, "Hey, big guy, when is your fight in Vegas?" It should be in May. I don't know if it's in the early portion of May or the late portion of May, but it'll be whenever the Bitcoin conference is. It'll be around that time. You're a martial artist? Awesome, man. Yeah, it would be super cool. I mean, especially since I know a lot of people in this community are from America, and Vegas is just a very easy place to travel to. So I'd love to do a big meetup for that, because that is something that I'm very, very excited for and preparing a lot for as well. SF to San Diego, best weather worldwide. It is true. I grew up in San Francisco. It is still warm in the winter, I guess, but it's not like super, super warm like it is in Southern California. And Miami is the answer. Trust, yeah. I'm being swayed here. I'm being swayed, but it very, very high probability. Sell in May and walk away. Could be. Dubai was awesome in the 80s. Dubai was literally just dirt in the 80s, I think. Anyways, we can start to maybe get a little bit more into the content of the day. I see that there's about 700 people watching, 7 likes on the video, so that's a good ratio, about 1%, but that's fine, man. That's fine. We have the right 1% right now. You're a part of the 1%. The 1% club also knows the rules. No complaining. There's no complaining allowed. This is crypto. No complaining allowed. No crying allowed as well. If I hear any crying, you're out. If I hear any complaining, also out. If I hear anything, if there's anything that I literally don't like or disagree with, also out. That's how it goes. Is Bitcoin going to crash, bro? Please help. Define crash. Define crash. Do I think Bitcoin is going to enter into a bear market from here, which is like an actual crash? No, I don't think so. I think we've probably seen, it's very likely we've already seen the majority of this pullback. But there was something very, very interesting that someone actually sent to me right before this stream. So I didn't have too much time to prepare anything for it, but I figured I'll just show it on stream here. We can kind of chat about it and then I can get into my analysis. But it would be this from the Twitter account or X account, Joe Consorti. I do want to give him credit for this. And he has been plotting Bitcoin versus global M2. So that's the global monetary supply. And he found that, or I would like to verify this myself, but what he's saying is that there has been about a 70-day lag on Bitcoin price versus the global M2 money supply. Since September of 2023. So this is not always not always correlated, let's say, but it seems like it has been for a little bit over a year now. And what is interesting about this is that if we go into the chart, the M2 supply has actually initiated a pretty severe correction right here, coming back down to similar levels that we saw actually in the low 70s. Now Bitcoin, does that follow it on this schedule? I guess if it holds true, but like I said, I've not verified this information myself. And I do think that getting a deep retracement like that is a little bit less likely here. I do think that Bitcoin is actually more likely to put in its next higher low before that. But this is why bull markets, I do think, are more deceivingly difficult than what people might inherently believe. What do I mean by that? Well, it's no secret that there's probably more people who actually get liquidated in bull markets than bear markets, because a lot of the time you get more aggressive, you start putting on more leverage, all these sort of things. But, even when things are generally up, there are some pretty severe pullbacks. Again, if we go back to prior cycles, or even, before, earlier on in the cycle, we've gone over this many times, but, there's been several 20% corrections in the last almost 2 years now, despite Bitcoin more or less being a straight line to the upside on the monthly time frame when you look at it right here. So I do think that does deserve some sort of consideration, because even when it's easy, it's not easy, is what I'm trying to say. Let me actually put this back on log scale so that you can see prior cycles as well. I think 2017 is always a good one to check in on, because there were 7 major corrections throughout this run. And these corrections were all 30% or more. 30% is a lot. 30% would put Bitcoin back down to $70,000 from the current high. Not saying that's going to happen, but these things do happen. Anyways, generally, if and when Bitcoin does test the weekly 21, that is going to be a major buy, and that actually is around very low 70s right now. So again, I'm not personally of the opinion that that's happening from here, but just for some general overview. I mean, at some point, we will see a major pullback like that. But I'm still kind of the opinion here that while Bitcoin didn't necessarily continue at the early portion of this week, I do think that Bitcoin will still get another shot, at least at $100,000 before the end of this year, and probably have a nice shot like above $100,000 by the end of this year. And then we get like a real correction to kind of, maybe close out this year or open up next year. And then you see, in my opinion, what is very likely to be the majority of this run, which probably ends, at least in my opinion, before the end of Q1 of 2025, which I can be very much wrong about. Again, it's very difficult to do these things far out in advance. I'm planning a video for next Wednesday that is going to go over every detail that I'm looking at to kind of solidify that case, because things have become more and more clear now. And I do feel like there's a good video to be made on that. Also because we're going to be traveling as well. So it'll be a good time to publish a video like that too. Anyways, every time they put a new floor in at my job, it's been the floor for Bitcoin. Have they put in a new floor recently, sir? What's your claim that this is just a higher low before 80,000? If it's a higher low before 80,000, I mean, what? I don't understand your version of English, sir. But would it be a higher low above 80,000? Yes. Anything's a higher low above the November 5th low, which is all the way at 68,000. So, that does offer up a, very, 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 very major range here for the higher term timeframes, specifically. In fact, if we actually take a Fibonacci retracement from that low to the current high, I do want to see where it's at right now. And actually a couple of areas of interest along the way. Perhaps those are going to be relevant, but again, for right now, I still don't think it's time to be, I don't want to be overzealous with looking for a super deep pullback here. I do think it's less likely to get something like that. They meant a lower high. Oh, that Bitcoin pops back up, puts in a lower high, and then comes down? Possible, sure, yeah. But I mean, let's wait for Bitcoin to pop up first and then confirm a lower high. Because as of right now, we don't have anything resembling a lower high or a lower low on daily time frame or above. If we're looking for a downtrend, the lowest time frame that we have to go to, 4 hour has it, 6 hour also has it as well. We have high, low, lower, low, obviously. But any time from above that is still in an uptrend. So, to me, this is still more or less a short / somewhat medium term time frame correction. And that's, again, a major reason here why I don't want to get overzealously looking for a much deeper pullback. Anyways, I'm going to take some more sips of this caffeine. I'm going to read some more of these comments and we'll get into the actual, what's it called? Analysis of the day. Yes. Dude Stellar says you have a natural negative bias. I mean, I guess. Sure. What did I say about no complaining? Yeah. Timeout. It's timeout time. Fuck them. There's no complaining. There's no criticizing. Okay. Anything that can be taken negatively towards me, you're going to get banned. It's just the way that it works. I'm very sensitive. Okay. Very, very sensitive. And I look like a woman and I have long hair. That is what it is. Okay. I'm just playing by my own rules. That's all. I am streaming directly from OBS to YouTube, actually, Mr. Alexander. Again, the issue is, well, I think it's several things going on here, but hopefully these issues will all be resolved by just changing location, I think. But yeah, I am, in case you don't know, I am fucking joking. Although I did ban them, but yeah, that's not a joke. Banning's not a joke. Let's see. Just the MSNBC and CNN. Yeah, long-time subscriber, first time seeing a live stream. Adz, what's up, man? Good welcome to the live stream, sir. I need an intro like yours. Yeah, unfortunately, no intro today because, well, too many issues here. The issue is, what are your pronouns, man, sir? Something like that. Elsa says my pronouns are gay and gayer. Where do you come up with this? You're also banned. How about that? You're banned. Sell in May and you are gay. That's right. That was the advice last year, and actually, advice didn't work out too well. It was indeed a good time to sell in hindsight. 10K moves seem to be becoming normal without much spike in volatility, says Lead Slip. Yeah, this is just a natural progression of something that gets to such large numbers, right? Bitcoin goes from 100,000 to 90,000 bucks. That's a 10% move. That's why it's, in my opinion, better to be thinking in terms of percent moves rather than dollar moves, because it'll keep you a little bit more grounded. But of course, a $10,000 move is always a $10,000 move, right? I mean, Bitcoin going from 99 to basically 91, that's that's still a big move, man. Still a big move. So fair enough. 58K. That's right. We're going to 58,000 and not a cent more or less, actually. Joey Crypto says running that new VMP Bitcoin 1 hour long. Wish me luck. Nice, man. I'm guessing you're referring to. Actually, I'll show this strategy for other people to look at as well. Otherwise, only I know what the hell you're talking about, or I guess people from the Quant Prime service know what you're talking about. But I'm guessing you're talking about this one. It's a pretty interesting one, actually. This one using the Krown VMP fib as a major driving component for this strategy. I don't know if you actually went through the strategy components, but it was using that, and funnily enough, man, it's having some pretty nice results. Now, again, one of those strategies that has a lower strike rate, but the profit factor, quite agreeable here, I would say. So yeah, if you are in the Quant Prime service, of course, that is available to you. I actually completely forgot to bring up even the sale that's going on right now. Of course, we do have our Black Friday sale going on because tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all of the celebrators out there. And if you're not, fuck you. You're also banned. You just have to be banned, okay? That's how things work here. If you don't agree, you're banned. Of course, I should let you know that the coupon code for 20% off on all of these services on our Teachable School, which you can find a link to in the description below, is black in all capitals. And in the Quant Prime service, actually, it's not just 20% off, it's 25% off for the lifetime of your subscription, which is the biggest, discount that we're ever going to do for like a long-term run. And also, of course, it applies to the annual plan and even the lifetime for the people who just want to lock in for that as well. All right, cool. Elsa's having a big old laugh party over there. Someone must have said something in the chats. Sounds like Blue Sky, or you mean Blue Cry. It is pretty funny, man, that I guess there's like a lefty version of Twitter now. Did you know that there's a lefty version of Twitter called Blue Sky? Did you know that? Yeah, that's what it is. And it's like a super censored version. Yeah, that's where people where people went when they left on Twitter. But like it's like a super censored version where there are trigger warnings for content, and it's insensitivity warnings for content. Elsa says it's for white dudes for Kamala. Elsa had the biggest laugh attack. Actually, no, I'm not going to repeat this. I don't want to get too much into the politics shit. We're all banned. That's right. I'm banning myself too. I'm banning myself from the ban button. Okay, we're almost done with this caffeine. Probably shouldn't even drink anymore. Anyways, Ron Van Cronenberg says, Blue Sky for all your safe space needs. Let me get my notes out over here. Perhaps I'll record this one and post it later as well. We'll see how price action kind of evolves from here. But shit, I probably should have shilled the sale during the actual video formation. But oh well, whatever. Let me actually go back to Twitter. I do want to start off with this because I did make a post last night. Bitcoin on the hourly here. Actually, let me start recording this. Last evening on Twitter, the great social media venue, we were looking at a potential for a bounce as Bitcoin had several attempts to actually break below the about $92,000 region on an hourly closing basis, and well, did not. We saw, of course, many wicks below, but no closures below, and that was accompanied by some bullish divergence forming on the hourly time frame, plus that double derp BBWP signal that I speak about very, very frequently here. And Bitcoin has gotten thus far pretty decent bounce intraday. Did bounce up to about 94.5 and now coming back down to essentially the same resting place as yesterday. So I actually would be looking now for that same signal to start to transpire and translate onto slightly higher term timeframes. Now, slightly higher term timeframes relative to an hourly means maybe like a 2 hour, a 3 hour, a 4 hour. And in this case, we can see that the 2 hour time frame is printing that same sort of bullish divergence come off of this low. In this case, it actually has 1, 2, 3 drives and a phantom drive on top of that. And we even see the buy hourly jewel starting to turn up. So another indication here that Bitcoin probably does attempt for a bounce from this region. The real question is this the real low? Is this the next major higher low in an overall uptrend? Well, that obviously remains to be seen, and I wouldn't really be entertaining that as a confirmed likelihood, especially as long as Bitcoin's below 98,800, but even as long as it's below about 96,500 on a 4-hour closing basis. Speaking of the 4-hour time frame, we do see that this one is also going to have the very slight potential. Whoops, let me blow this back on up over here as well. A very slight potential for bullish divergence on the 4-hour RSI between this low and this low right here. These lows correlated to the 93,200 low versus the current 91.5 low over here. Again, looking at 4-hour Joule to get a little bit of it, at least a pity bounce. So, very likely Bitcoin does dig in, maybe after one more swipe of these lows, something like this, and then pops back on up and puts in a rally. And then this will be the real test, in my opinion. If you see Bitcoin rejected, especially anywhere below about 96,000 bucks, then the potential for lower remains very much open. Now, if Bitcoin does reclaim this region right here, things start to look a lot better. And I'd generally be looking for Bitcoin to kind of work its way sideways and up from this range. Maybe not exactly from there. It's probably not going to look exactly like this, but perhaps, maybe goes a little bit into that range, comes back down, sets on a higher low here, and then tries an actual upside move. But of course, one thing before the next, we'll take it one day at a time here. Looks like a short-term bounce is very likely in order. Of course, we should go reference our short-term time frame stochastic momentums. We can see that the 4-hour time frame also going to be showing upside momentum as long as Bitcoin is closing above 91.9. Also a very slight amount of divergence there as well. Obviously, lower time frames than this should be up as well, like the bi-hourly, which is of course pointed up, and the hourly time frame as well, which is going to take its time loading. Yes, but it actually is, and it's also working its way out of the bearish control zone for the first time since this correction began on Monday, let's say. So moving on from there and moving on to, actually, I do want to reference one more thing on the 4-hour time frame. We do see somewhat of an extreme here on the 4-hour BBWP. We did see above about 90 percentile, actually hitting a high of 91.27. So, this as a bit of a short-term area for a bounce does make a lot of sense. Again, I'm not calling a reversal just yet, just potential for reversal. And of course, we do have, or actually, I did not put this on the chart, but I believe I put it on yesterday's chart. We do have the 50% level coming in around this region as well. Yeah, around about 92,000 bucks. So a high probability for a bounce region. But of course, if Bitcoin does break lower, then the next areas of interest would be the 618 and the 786 right here. Other than that, I do kind of have an issue seeing Bitcoin playing out a deeper retracement than that. But hey, until this is resolved, yeah, the potential for lower does exist, but I want to be very, 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 very clear that my disposition is that I personally do not want to get too bearish during an overall uptrend when looking for the next higher low, on, I suppose in this case, it'd be the daily. So Bitcoin right here, actually on the daily HPDR, I should mention, is resting right at the, need to get on CME. Yeah, CME is resting right on the median as well. Again, if Bitcoin does start to close below there, at that point, sub 90 is, extremely likely. That currently on CME is 92,500 as the pivot. If Bitcoin does break it, probably looking somewhere around 89, again on CME, which does have a premium over spot price action, perhaps even as low as 87.5. So it'd be those also lining up with the spot price action Fibonacci retracements. So, looking at those levels, that's kind of where I'd be looking for on a higher low if this area does fail right here. Anyways, other than that, I do want to yes. Now we need to go over to the 12-hour time frame right here. 12-hour time frame for Bitcoin, we do see there is going to be potential for hidden bullish divergence forming at some point. The 12-hour RSI has already made significantly lower lows than what we saw even back on over in November 7th, where Bitcoin was trading, at 75,000 bucks. So at some point there will be hidden bullish divergence. It is already a potential right here. How would you actually confirm hidden bullish divergence? And very likely a pop back up somewhere around 99, maybe even 100,000 bucks would be a 12-hour closure back above 96,000 bucks. A lot rests on that $96,000 region. But until then, there does exist the potential for lower and I guess decently lower as well in terms of percentage. But other than that, I do want to, is there anything else that I wanted to mention? Yes. Okay. There's one other thing that I did forget to mention over here. Daily time frame as we work our way up is forming this nice trendline regression that we did see coming in from the lows of September, connected with the lows again of October, and then again in November. Bitcoin, or sorry, not Bitcoin, but the stochastic oscillator will once again reach this trend line, probably not today, but very likely tomorrow or Friday. So either Thursday or Friday, it will meet this. And, if we are still expecting this momentum pattern to hold, well, we would expect Bitcoin to essentially put in a higher low in that time frame. So that would be Thursday, maybe Friday. It just depends how quickly things come down here. So it's not going to be today, but perhaps tomorrow. Very very well could be. Of course, also today, the momentum remains to the downside as long as Bitcoin's below 99,300. So it's like not, probably not happening today. But I'm curious to see where that pivot comes in around tomorrow and the next day. I'm going to imagine at least by Friday, that's going to go down to about $96,000. And at that point, if you start to see Bitcoin close above that region, that would be sort of like a bigger picture signal that I'd be looking for, that Bitcoin is actually putting in the higher low here rather than lower. And just I'd be looking for a continuation of overall trend, I guess. Kind of crazy to say, but yeah, there is that. Anyways. What else should... Oh, look, I just got an email. I just got an email from my Quora digest saying, my husband found my Tinder profile and now wants to divorce me. What do I do? Who asked these questions on the internet? Who asked these questions on the internet? My advice is, just run. just run. No, just ban them. Just ban them. That's the answer to everything. Ban them. Anyways, Lead Slip says, ain't nothing gay about making money. I guess, I don't know, unless if... Can I put your phone to the charger? Yes, I'll put your phone to the charger in a moment. I'm a little bit busy here if you haven't fucking noticed. Yeah, is there anything else that I want to get on this video? Yes. Okay. Yeah. One last thing. As we do come into the end of this month, remember the monthly HPDR median was coming in around 96,450, which actually lines pretty damn well with that pivot that we've seen now on many different time frames. If Bitcoin does close above that by end of month, expect 6 digits, like a big move into 6-digit territory in December, like significant move. But until then, I suppose that we are in a little bit of corrected holding pattern. So I'll end things on that note. As always, want to wish you the best of the best, and we'll continue on with the live stream now. Nice. Okay, sweet. Luke the Chingus says, at the pub, having a brew and watching Krown. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah, man. That's awesome. Chaos with California late vote count will disturb markets. Does it matter? I mean, does it actually matter? The elections are done, man. Is it going to change anything? Maybe I'm just ignorant to the facts. Anyways, I'm reading some of these comments here. Okay, there's actually just people chatting with each other. So perhaps I will not comment on such things. Jeremy Brown says, laugh, laugh, laugh. Yes, we need more laughter. Nope, laughing is also a bannable offense, actually. A trigger warning. Yes, indeed. Anyways, yeah, I did want to say for the people who are on this live stream right now, we actually have finished this. We have finished the quantum wave bands. Well, I wouldn't say finish for forever. Obviously, things can evolve over time. But the new scalping tool, I do think that we're going to release it probably later today. I'll come up with a video on it later today. It is really just for short-term scalping on the 30-minute time frame and on the hourly time frame. Get in and out relatively fast. You can see a few trade examples right here. Works on just a few tickers as well, but it's more of like, hey. Here's a signal, like just straight fucking for you, I suppose. Going through it, you can see actually, okay, I'm trying to find like a bad trade because I know that there was one recently. So has to be somewhere around here. Let me just try to find it because not all of these are going to be fucking wins, obviously. In fact, the easiest way to show this is that the equity curve long term. Well, let's actually go long term. This is not that long of data. Let's go for the past 6 years, see what that's printed. But about a 70% strike rate. However, those losses can can be a little bit outweighed by the gains, or sorry, overweighed by the gains. Man, my brain is just not fucking working today, is it? It's this damn city. I woke up every day at 5 a.m. Every fucking day at 5 a.m. Crazy, just crazy. But yeah, since 2018, actually doing pretty damn good right there. Expecting it to be a little bit lower actually, but ultimately. This very likely going to go out later today. I'll have more information on it for you. Just wanted to do a quick sort of presentation on it on this live stream here before we get into the actual comments and chats of the day. Also didn't even go over price statistics for today. That's how bad things were this morning. I guess. Anyways, let me get into the chats. Also has them saved for me over here. There's already a shit ton, which is... well, good. We can start off with Mr. Do Quant. Hopefully he's still around as well. It's been quite some time. He's looking at pups as always. Let's see. This is I think it's like the first Bitcoin meme or some shit like that. To me, this one's putting in its next higher low right here. We do see some bullish divergence forming on the 12-hour time frame. I'm curious what the daily says. Daily is actually forming hidden bullish divergence simultaneously. So I look at that as a pretty damn good sign. Also putting in a higher low around that green 55 exponential moving average. So you do expect higher lows around that region, just like you expect lower highs. On the downside right here. To me, this would be the area. So I would be looking for this one to trade a little bit sideways and up from here. Obviously that would be invalidated if you start to see daily closures below about 18.5 cents. But until then, this one, I mean, very likely does something like this, a little bit sideways, a little bit up. Obviously the area to get really excited about is when you start to see higher term timeframes closing above 39 cents. That's where this thing can actually, I guess, do the bull zuka. But until then, short-term correction. Of course, we actually should speak about the downside as well. If it does break below 18.5, again, on a daily closing basis, actually at that point, starts to look a lot more suspect here. I don't think that's what's happening, but of course, always need to have objective identifiers of such things. If that does happen, maybe somewhere back down around about 13 cents, give or take a little bit from that number. Anyways, we have Woot next. He's looking at Moo 4-hour and daily. We're starting off with the meme strong today, but are the memes still the thing to be getting into? Be respectful. How's your peanut coins doing? Very similar here on the daily, actually, to the last chart. Whoops, I'm doing my brush. Very, very similar to the last chart in terms of signals here. Daily potential for hidden bullish divergence. This one not as strong as the last one, but also not as much history. So it's actually kind of a good thing in a market like this right now. 12-hour time frame, same shit here too. 12-hour bullish divergence. I'm looking for bounces on a lot of these things alongside Bitcoin. The question is, how high does Bitcoin get? How high? And that's going to really judge whether, these things actually explode from here or not, I guess. 96, the big region for Bitcoin, as far as I look at things. But yeah, as far as movement goes, I'd be looking for this one to try a short-term upside move, probably back around your last Friday high. Start to close back above those last Friday highs, then sure, this thing can run back up towards your November highs and continue on with the general uptrend. I'm just not going to hit a chart like this. It's just not a whole hell of a lot of history, so it does make things, like I said, a little bit difficult. But short term, try for some upside. If it does close below yesterday's low, okay, something else going on. Very likely back down somewhere around here. Again, just like the last one, I don't think that's what's happening right here, but if it did, that's where I'd be looking towards, and would want to come back to it after that and reanalysize it. Anyways, moving on, we have Nishant. And he's looking at SW Solar on the daily. Is this a stock or sounds like an actual stock? Okay, I'm guessing it's stock on an Indian exchange. Yeah, in fact, this one, even similar to some of these cryptos. Again, bullish divergence come off of this low. It is, I think, already in the process of making a bounce here, or at least a bounce attempt. I do think it'll try, again, somewhere around about 520-ish region. But need to see it start to close above 520 for this thing to put in any threat of like a deeper reversal, towards like 560, 570-ish region. So for now, short-term bounce probably over the next few weeks. I will be wrong on that. Again, if you do see a closure below last week's low, at that point, very likely coming back down to like 410, 400-ish region. But I'd give it a chance here first. I'm just curious what the monthly looks like. Okay, monthly's pretty fucking ugly. Monthly really makes me think that this thing could come further down, but maybe a short-term bounce, and then it does roll over the next couple months. Because the monthly, I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing down around low 400s. Not great on the monthly. Anyways, where's my water? Can you get me a water, please? Nisha says, the other day Swanee said that's not how markets work. When someone said a multi-billion billion buy couldn't tip Bitcoin over 100,000. So how do markets work? Okay, so what's the best way to explain it? The best way to explain this is in the most simplistic terms. What I think Swanee was water. What I think Swanee was kind of referencing there was that. Let me explain the situation first. So someone on Twitter posted with a very large follow account said something to the tune of like, Saylor bought 5 billion worth of Bitcoin this past weekend, and that wasn't enough to push Bitcoin above $100,000. And then Swanee responded, that's not how markets work. And I do agree with Swanee in this regard. Of course, how do markets work in the most simplistic sense? For every buyer, there is a seller, meaning that if Saylor is buying a shit ton of Bitcoin, do you think that he just goes on Coinbase to buy it, like with one click, shit like that? No, he goes, I wouldn't say behind the scenes. That's the wrong terminology to use. Maybe you call it a dark pool, I guess. And you find someone who can actually absorb that amount. So he'll do very likely a trade OTC, which they find a seller to agree upon a very specific price. So it's not like he's actually pushing the markets there. When you're doing that big size, you have to do things in this way, and I'm talking about like big size. And even then, they don't do it all in one go. They'll do it in like tranches, right? So it's an agreed upon price. And I think the misnomer here is that people think that he's just going on Coinbase and pressing the buy button like 50 times, over the weekend. And it's like, shit, it didn't get over 100,000. It's like, no, he went behind the scenes. Again, not the perfect way to explain this, but it's called a dark pool in traditional markets. I don't know if it's the same in crypto, but you find a seller to agree upon a specific price, and then that's what you execute it for. So it's not like it. It's not like it works in that way. Yeah. Anyways, I'd be curious to hear his explanation as well. But that's the way that I would interpret what he was saying. Finally, some water, man. All right. Tim Call says, I have huge balls. Nice. Good. I'm glad you do. Also banned. Big Bull says, Nero Octo. All right, cool. Please XRP or Overlord. Oh God. I've incited the XRP army. MEXC, not as interesting as some of the other shitcoins that we've seen today. Again, not a whole hell of a lot of history here. It's been around for a few months since September, mid-September that is. If anything, in the short term, it's more weak than the other shitcoins that we've seen. Clear and obvious downtrend. No bullish divergence forming as of this moment. If anything, I'd be looking for this thing to come back down to whatever the hell this number is here, somewhere down around here. Of course, I will be wrong on that. If you do see this thing pop back up, confirm a local low here, somewhere around about 18,000-ish region. And at that point, probably does put in a move somewhere right around here. Again, very likely to trade with whatever Bitcoin does, but this thing is weaker. So if Bitcoin dumps out, if Bitcoin tries again lower, this thing is going to break down very, very likely. Yeah. As far as daily goes, I don't really have a real analysis on this, a little bit too new. Daily range is basically the low of last Thursday versus the high of last Thursday. Anything between there is kind of irrelevant. Of course, closing back above the high, very likely to go on a nice run towards your November highs, or I guess in this case, all-time highs. And below last Thursday's low, yeah, very likely does come back down around here. And I'm kind of more biased towards that happening. Again, if Bitcoin does have a bounce, though, this thing should at least hold somewhat sideways, but kind of difficult when this thing is much weaker. Anyways, Jesse Lewis says Chainlink on the weekly and monthly. Okay, I haven't heard Chainlink called out that often anymore. Let's see where it's at in the grand scheme of things. Daily time frame. I'm looking at this actually again as a more or less healthy consolidation here. Again, just relative to the daily. probably gets another try somewhere around 19, maybe even $20, somewhere around there. But is it ready to bust on through? Maybe not this week, but perhaps over the next 2 weeks. Again, the big area to be aware of to the upside on a weekly closing basis is 19.5. Above there, this thing can actually go on a pretty nice run. You might see deep 20s at that point. 28 to 29 region, I think, becomes quite likely. The question is how does this consolidation kind of emerge from here? Because this can take many different forms. Maybe a spike up, maybe gets pushed back down, tries for a higher low, and then tries an actual move to the upside. I think that this takes a little bit of time right here. I would only change my opinion on this and get bearish if you do see it pop back down and close below about a little bit under $15. If you see that, okay, something else going on, I'm going to be wrong. It's not going to have any fall through to the upside. But for now, I'd give it a chance to consolidate here and then try again higher. Let's see. Gallo says AVAX weekly. When now more hope to moon to 100? I have no fucking clue what the hell you are saying, sir. It's like my dyslexia is contagious to other people's dyslexia, and we just cannot fucking communicate. Very similar in the short term as far as price action goes to Link, actually. Again, a consolidation at a high level. I think kind of the same thing as Link here as well. You might get another short-term spike onto the upside, but overall, it's in a bit of a consolidation. So I do think that this takes a little bit of time. But ultimately, do I think it's going to retest the highs from March of this year? Yeah, I do think so. Do I think it's going to surpass those highs? Most likely, yes. I mean, when we look at the higher term timeframes, the monthly namely, we do see that there is a potential for a real reversal here. We see our first potential for higher, it is a higher low on the monthly. Now, if this thing can even just trade above your March highs, then you have your higher high. At that point, does $100 become relevant? I guess there's going to be some stops along the way, obviously, but $100, yeah, somewhere around there is not, it's not out of the question. But one thing before the next, I'd like to see it confirm an uptrend. If you confirm that uptrend, yeah, I do think 100,000, or not 100,000, but $100 is very, 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 very likely. Until then, you're always going to have a little bit of a question in the back of your minds. So one thing before the next. But I do think that it will get a try up here, and probably does get a free ride. Again, going to come alongside a generally strong Bitcoin as well, if that does happen. Dr. Checkmate says Tesla daily and weekly. Okay, I remember we looked at this one. Well, we actually look at this one quite frequently. Let's see where it's at now. Again, another consolidation at a high level. Retested these prior highs from April of 2022. Very common to pull back from a region like this. Not, in my opinion, not like a cause for major concern or anything like that. Following the LARP lines here as well, we do have an uptrend on the weekly and the monthly here too. So short-term pullback could potentially bring it back down to to very low 300s, like 300 to 315. That's fine. I'm not even saying that has to happen, but if that happened, that's fine. Overall, this thing is poised for very likely higher, after this short-term pullback, which, yeah, I do think we'll reach a little bit lower, at least 320. Maybe a little bit lower than that over time, but nothing bearish about this, at least from my perspective, as long as you're above your November lows, which is 240. Yeah, 240. So, I'd give it a little bit of a chance to consolidate here and then try again higher, probably December, maybe January, something like that, man. If you're on the daily, just, consolidation here probably comes down in the short term, maybe like 320-ish region. Actually, I can't tell how many are coming in because I don't have the sound anymore. Anyways, Stefan Milicevic says, is Sol uptrend still valid since it closed daily barely above 230? If it still closed above, then yes. Let's see. Yeah. I don't see any issues here. Maybe it's a little more obvious on a 12-hour time frame, or sorry, not a 12-hour time frame, but a 2-day time frame. Yeah. Still, the daily uptrend is still very much valid. It did not violate that condition in the weekly. We do have a reconnect with the 5 exponential here. So again, if the trend's going to continue, this is a good place for it. That's what I'd be saying about that. Of course, I'll be wrong if you do see a closure below yesterday's low. At that point, yeah, this thing can correct all the way back down to very low 200s. Let's like somewhere between 200 to 210. But until then, I give it a chance here. a lot of the times the first sort of retest after a breakout on a major moving average like this, is typically going to be a good bounce area. So I'd give it a chance first. Of course, again, keep in mind what the higher term timeframes are looking like. The monthly, well, the monthly it would be nice to see it actually close above your November highs from 2021, the prior all-time high. That'd be like the most obvious area to be looking for a continuation. But again, I think that that's more of a formality. Looking at monthly RSI, even if it has a short-term pullback here, this thing is still very likely poised for higher. Weekly does have potential for bearish divergence though. So, yeah, if it does close below yesterday's low, have to be looking back towards, about 200 actually, not 210, but about 200, which is kind of a big move for this thing, percentage-wise, that is. Anyways, little bot in the background working. Good work, bot. Well, actually, was that a good work right there? I'll check on that one later. Martin Hunt says, good morning, sir. What's up, man? Can you please look at Popcat on the 12-hour? Would that count as potential 4 drives of hidden bullish divergence or Jesus toast? Let's see. Popcat. I guess, no, this is not what I want to go to. Hold on. We can find a better chart than this, I think. Okay, maybe MEXC, I guess. I think that's like the new shitcoin exchange of choice. And you are on a 12-hour time frame, is what you're specifically asking about. And you're asking, is there 4 drives of hidden bullish divergence? No. No, there's not. There is actually no drives of hidden bullish divergence on this. Okay, am I looking at the right time frame? Yeah, I am, because there's actually nothing at all, man. There's nothing. No. The answer is no, sir. When you're in a downtrend, which this one is, you cannot have hidden bullish divergence. You can only have hidden bullish divergence in an uptrend. Think of it this way when you're talking about divergences. In an uptrend, you can only have bearish divergence, regular bearish divergence, and then hidden bullish divergence, because your hidden bullish divergence is your higher lows, your regular bearish divergence is your local highs, and vice versa for a downtrend. You can only ever have hidden bearish divergence, which is your lower highs in the trend continuation, and regular bullish divergence, which is your lower low but bounce areas. So I would say it's Jesus toast there, sir. I don't even see anything resembling that at all at this point, at least. Or certainly not on this time frame. I don't know. Maybe you meant a daily or something like that. Even a daily, I mean, this thing's already around that last prior major low. So if it does have divergence, I mean, it's not going to be anything super powerful. That's not a strong signal. Cameron Maltby says, although it probably does try for a bounce here, but I think that one might fail. Not the strongest one. Anyways, Cameron Maltby says, back with the Ponke, MEXC, daily, weekly. Okay, very, very consistent. Ponke. All right, and you're looking at a daily and a weekly. Daily, again, like the uptrend overall, you are going to have potential for hidden bullish divergence here. Daily RSI is already making lower lows than we saw from the 4th of November low when this thing was trading at 40 cents. Right now trading, I don't know, like 25% higher than that. So does it kind of dig in here around the 55, try for a higher low, and then try an upside move? I think that's probably what's going to happen. Obviously, I will be wrong if you see this thing close below about 48 cents. At that point, something else going on. You're very likely to see a move, another sort of, I guess, 20% slide towards 40-ish region. Until then, I'd give it a chance here. Again, it's very, very similar to a lot of the other charts that we've seen on the stronger side, where it retests a prior high, pulls back from that prior high. It's all very, very common stuff, and then tries for a higher low. So I'd really just be on higher low watch here. But if it does fail, yeah, I'd actually be looking towards 40 cents. So it's either it's either 48.5 cents or closer to 40 cents for that next higher low. Which again, big percentage moves there. Nishant says, Ray, 5-day, weekly, monthly with Bitcoin also. Just one at a time, man. My voice and time does not allow me for such things. But okay, I'm going to go with USD just because there's not any legitimate exchanges that offer the Bitcoin parent, unfortunately. Anyways, you're looking at 5-day, weekly. Okay, so like all higher term timeframes. Not that it should make a huge difference between the 5-day and the weekly, to be honest with you. But let's see, where are we at in the grand scheme of things? Okay, first off, I want to see what the linear chart looks like. Okay, so we have a former major breakdown region coming in from December of 2021. Is this where the high is being found right now? No, actually, it's not. I do think that it will spike up a little bit higher than this. Yes. After a short-term correction. I know you didn't ask about a daily time frame, but daily could very easily come lower towards 4.5, 460-ish region. Doesn't have to, but of course, if it did, I wouldn't look at that as like anything super, super bad. It'd just be another higher low. Weekly, monthly, I think that this one does try higher overall. You will see a spike up somewhere around that region. But right now it's in a bit of a short-term consolidation. So, it can take many different forms. Maybe it has a short-term pop-up, comes down, tries for a higher low, blah, 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 maybe something like that. I'd only get bearish on this thing if you trade below your 13th of November low. That's the only way that I'd actually say, hey, this thing is not going to try any further upside moves. This one's entering into the prolonged downside move. But until then, corrections here are just higher lows, man. Yeah, and this probably does take some time here. I mean, this is a pretty significant run. The weekly BBWP already getting into extreme territories there, so this can take a few weeks to resolve. Coffee Please says no sauna weekly. Okay, no sauna. What else? Wait, what? That's what Elsa does. She goes what? Like a fucking duck. Let me put this on log scale. Let's just see what it looks like. Okay, very bizarre chart here over the long period of time. Just fucking pumps and dumps out of nowhere, I guess. As far as this one goes on the weekly, let's mark off the obvious areas. Your range high right here, your range low right here. You just tested your range high. It's actually consolidated at a pretty high level. I know you didn't ask about a daily, but I actually do think that this one is putting in a higher low right here. It's kind of wedging itself into potentially an ascending triangle. Something like this, just higher lows along the way. So assuming that you just don't see a breakdown below, especially your 3rd of November low, this one actually probably tries another upside move from here. Just, again, taking its time, a little bit of consolidation to go, after a pretty significant move here, again, percentage-wise. But the area that I'd be getting very excited about on this thing would be above 420. Oh, also a good number as well. At that point, very likely to retest all-time highs. Might even make new all-time highs from there, but of course one thing before the next. Let's see. Base 4267 says Solana strategy stock. Oh, Sol strategy stock. Okay, I'm glad that you specified it's a stock and also the exact name, because I would have gotten a little bit stumped on this one. Oh, it trades OTC, so not much different than a crypto, really. Daily, weekly time frame. Again, I want to look for the obvious things here. Look, when you're looking at OTC stuff, this is like pink slips type of shit. It does weird shit. It's like a shit coin, basically. Sorry, that's not the right area. This is the right area. So it did rally all the way up to this former breakdown area from 2008, and that is where you have found your high thus far. Again, on extreme BBWP. So I am inclined to say, like a lot of the other things that we've seen today, this consolidation is going to go on for a while. Again, it's higher low watch here, as far as I'm concerned, as long as this thing is above, shit, even 25 cents, but I'd even say like 50 cents. This thing could easily come down to, 55 cents. That'd just be another higher low. That's what makes these things so difficult, because these things can have such big percentage moves, but the trend does not really change. For what it's worth right now, I see some hidden bullish evidence on the daily time frame on low volatility, so maybe it gets another try up towards that 170-ish region. I just don't know if I'd say it's ready to break it just yet. But hey, if it does, it does. And at that point, I guess you're looking at $3 plus. Again, it's difficult for me to trust shit like this, because it is, it's pretty out there, I guess. But yeah. Anyways, moving on. What? 30? Holy shit. Jesus Christ. All right, fine. Elsa decided to close them, and that means she's going to ban everyone who sends in a super chat after this moment. Let's see. We have Gallo. He's looking at Sandbox. Okay, you really love these prior cycle shitcoins, don't you? But that's fine. Someone's got to love them, because they don't have mothers to love them. Crazy to believe it could 10x. Okay, so let's look at the real chart here. Okay. I don't know, man. I don't know. Can it pump? It can't pump. Look, these things can have big moves, yes, but can it Could it 10x from here? I mean, anything's possible, right? Is it probable? What would a 10x move look, or what would a 10x move look like? That would be a, no. I don't think so. That'd be 1,000% move. I don't think that's happening here. 1,000% move would put it back around prior all-time highs. Okay, am I doing that right? That doesn't sound right, but it is right. Yeah, that is correct. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Or sorry, no, it'd be, Jesus, my brain is just breaking today. This is embarrassing. Anyways, if I put it on log scale, the problem with this thing is that you aren't even in an uptrend right now. So calling like a significant move from here is just, it's very difficult, at least for me to do, because I'm never going to call the reversal before it actually happens. And most things in this market that have reversed, or most things that in this market that are going to reverse have already reversed. So it's just not a good sign that this thing is such a fucking laggard. And even right now, even on this current move, it's still another lower high as of this moment. I mean, there's not even a threat of an actual reversal until you're at least above about 83 cents on a weekly closing basis, and even then, you don't even have a weekly high or low. So I'm inclined to say, like, I mean, is it possible? Yes. Is it probable? Not really. Or at least there's better things. There are other things that are better that have a higher probability of having a 10x move than this thing. Again, here's your real chart. Like, that's a chart only a mother could love. And if I had my nuke button, I would nuke it, but I don't. So yeah, does the monthly have a higher low? It's like I can't even see. No, it doesn't. It doesn't yet. It looks like it probably does try for reversal here, but even then, you know, I think highest it gets is maybe like, okay, in my opinion, Moon Boy analysis, maybe you get like $2. I think even that's a fucking tremendous stretch, man, to be honest. But hey, we'll see. Anyways, Big Bull says STX USD. This is Stacks. This is, I think, DeFi on Bitcoin. This is actually like a really cool idea. Something that I should probably invest in myself, but I haven't. Or is this Stacks? Is that Stacks or what? Well, whatever the fuck it is. Okay. Yeah. Compare this chart to the last one. This one actually has higher term time frame, weekly and monthly higher lows. Actually, in fact, the monthly is putting in a higher low, like right here. So, and it's coming in right around the 50% retracement level on all these wicks. I like it. I think that this thing trades sideways and up from here. Again, this is going to take some time. This is a monthly look after all. In the weekly time frame, just retested this pair of highs right here. I don't know why I circled that one off before, but that's it's still relevant. Probably going to pull back from there. It's already pulling back from there, obviously. But again, higher low watch is what I'd be, kind of waiting for on this one. Can it come a little bit lower and still put in a higher low? Sure, yeah, it could come all the way down to like 185 and still be a higher low. But ultimately, I think that this thing is poising for an actual breakout. Probably next month. Looking at the monthly, but technically speaking, you want to see it back above. I think it was that 250 high or 245 high, something like that. If you see it back above there, yeah, should retest the highs, should continue on with the overall mega uptrend here. I mean, this is a monthly uptrend. Hard to hate. Anyways. Supamanda says, when do you plan to release the Quant Wave pricing? Actually, we already know the pricing for it. It's going to be $70 a month. There will be yearly and lifetime options as well. But yeah, I think that's, I mean, well, in my opinion, it's a pretty damn good price just because it just fucking does it for you. I almost hate that it does it for you. But yeah, if you're not familiar with what Supamanda is referring to, it'd be this indicator right here. So it just plots out straight up fucking probabilistic setups for you. Again, not going to be perfect. I always want to be like super upfront about, the detriments of these sort of things, and you can see one right here. When I look at the equity curve, there was a period. Let me actually see how long this lasted, because this was on trade number 273 and went towards 325. So let's actually see how long did this go. All right. Hold on. I already forgot. It was okay. 275 to 333. Yes. Okay. Let me just see. Okay. Let's go down to 275, see where that one is. When did that start? That correction in the equity curve. That was here in September of 2021. Oh, wow. It actually corrected. It actually was not profitable during the last portion of the bull market in 2021. That is very strange. Yeah, and lasted until Q1 of 2022. Very interesting. So that's actually closer to 4, 5, 6 months of technically negative returns here. I mean, yes, there were winning trades in between, obviously, but overall it was a losing strategy during that time. Now again, long term, it does have some, in my opinion, great returns, especially recently over here as well. But nothing's going to be perfect. Anyways, moving on, we have Nishant. He's looking at Solana. So this is like actually a different thing. Solana. All right. Solana on, I guess we'll just go to MEXC. 5-day and weekly. Okay. It unsurprisingly does not have much history. Whoops. Let me actually go back to a chart that I can use for this. Solana. Yeah, there we go. Let's go to the weekly. Not a humongous fan of this. Again, retested this prior high here, sold off from that, sold off pretty aggressively from it as well. It's not, I mean, I'm not saying that it's going to continue on with the downtrend here, but I do think that it comes lower overall. And if it's going to try for a higher low, it's probably close to about 1.25 cents on that higher low. I'm going to imagine that's probably a major fib as well. Actually 1.5 would be the 786. Interesting. But yeah, if we go down to a daily, in the short term, might try a bounce from here. Bounces are just that though until it's back above about 2.5 cents. Above 2.5 cents, things start to look actually pretty good for this being the next major higher low. Until then, my general opinion is that it gets a short-term bounce, probably comes a little bit lower, and then tries for a real higher low, and that would be the most interesting. The most interesting portion if it were to happen. Gallo says, what's more powerful, hidden or regular divergence? So I'm guessing the context of this or the real question is what's likely to produce a bigger percentage move? Typically regular divergence. And obviously the more drives that you have, typically the bigger response. But regular divergence has the potential for an actual reversal, whereas hidden divergence does have the potential for continuation, but very, very often it's actually just a range play. So yeah. Anyways, Steven Schickman says, Doggy daily weekly. Can you show divergences in any jewel signals? I mean, we'll see. We'll see if there's any present. I can't make them up if they're not there. But let's see what the jewels say about that. Yeah, Doggy. Okay. And you're on a daily and a weekly. Weekly, very similar to most charts that we've seen today. Again, retesting these prior highs here. Very, very common to pull back from a region like this. I believe that's even what we were looking at last week as well. It's already had a nice pullback from that region. Could it theoretically come lower towards like 33 or 32 cents? Sure. Yeah, but that's still a higher low overall. And it's already having a pretty good volatility compression phase right here. So I'm saying I would be of the opinion that this thing is actually somewhat mature in its consolidation. Again, it could take like another week or two. It maybe comes a little bit lower, but overall, as long as it's above about 32.5 cents, I'm looking for this thing to give a real actual try to the upside. As far as jewel signals, the daily did get a corrective signal recently, to be fair, not supported by DMI. So I'm not looking at this as like a potential like mega reversal. Again, probably a higher low to emerge from this. Is there any divergence to be aware of? You could have the potential for hidden bullish divergence here, but it needs to confirm a local low, which it hasn't done yet. So again, above 44.5 cents, very, very good. Very, very good. Weekly time frame, no divergences there. It's in an uptrend. Did make higher highs than your March highs, so not possible. I think it spends some time going sideways here, working off of these extreme conditions over the next couple of weeks, and then tries a move to the upside. K-Jam says, for Elsa to laugh once more. There you go. Cameron Malpe says Nero Octa. We did that one earlier, so all good there. P-Poo says Max Ethereum. Max ETH. Max ETH. I'm Max ETH long. No, I'm not actually. Just I hear that all the time. Anyways, 4-hour time frame. Okay. Pretty good. Actually, one of the better charts we've seen today. Don't know what I'm guessing this is like some sort of ungodly meme coin, but uptrend the whole way through. If it does want to correct, I'd be looking for somewhere down around here, but this is just another higher low. I've nothing bearish about this, especially as long as you're above, 1700 or 1500, anywhere around there. This thing is more likely to move to the upside than the downside. You don't see an RSI like this too often, so something's broken here. So I'd be very skeptical of the underlying asset, if you want to call it that. But ultimately, I do think that this one continues on with this rally. I'm guessing this is like a super low market cap type thing. So as always with these things, like you can get a fucking top out of nowhere, of course. But if you're just going off a trend, it's fine. Making new all-time highs is extremely bearish, as everyone knows. Aussie Economics says, any advice for someone who's going to be cucked by the taxman at the end of this bull market? Should I move to Thailand with you? Maybe I post on Blue Sky about my impression. I just identify as a non-tax-paying individual. Just identify as a non-tax-paying homosexual, and then you will not be liable for taxes anymore because you have a lot of things going for you. You're in multiple oppressed classes. Even just add a transgender on there too, and what do you know? They're going to be paying you taxes. So I'm guessing based off of your name, you're Australian. I do not know the Australian tax code. I assume it's probably not the same thing as the United States. The United States is very unique in that it taxes people on their worldwide income, no matter where they live, if they are a U.S. citizen. So I'm assuming Australia does not have that rule. If they don't, you probably have some rule similar to, but you should definitely check this because I'm not a tax professional or this is not tax advice, blah, 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 blah. But most countries have a rule that if you stay in the country for more than 6 months of the year or more than 150 days of the year, then you are what's called a tax resident and you are liable for taxes. So I don't know, maybe if assuming that rule is applicable to Australia, I know it's very applicable to most European countries, but I don't know about Australia. Then I don't know. You could spend half the year somewhere else. You could go to Thailand if you want. You could see all the ladyboys in Thailand if you desire. Cassie Nom Nom says, "Will WIF go back to $4 and break above?" Well, let me look at my crystal ball. Here's a WIF coin. My WIF coins. Will it go back to $4 and break above? I mean, if it goes back to $4, it is breaking. Let's see. Let's go to a daily first. Similar in nature to a lot of the other things that we've seen today. Again, retesting this prior high here from April of 2024. Pulling back from there, which is basically the all-time high, to be honest. So this common stuff. This is not like a major concern. Still remains in an uptrend. Again, your last higher low is all the way at 190, so it's got a lot of leeway here, to be fair. Is it going to try for a higher low here at around 290? I do think so. If there's ever a place for it, this would be a good place for it, I suppose. But if the question is just, is it going to go back to $4? I do think that you will get another shot at $4. It probably does break above $4, but this can take time. I would say maybe even as far out as like January. But for now, in a short-term correction and consolidation, I'd give it some time to trade a little bit sideways. Probably gives it very likely does give another try towards $4. That's all that I say about that. Harry Cox. Krown is the David Goggins of crypto. That's right. I don't fucking quit. Every day, baby. Every fucking day. Terrence Grogan says, FNMA. Franny Mae. FNMA. All right. Trades OTC, as you would expect for this thing. Here's the double derp signal. One extreme, two extremes. Technically, a lot of the time you want to see them both get up towards the 100, but I think that this one does fit the bill as well for it. So at least a prolonged consolidation from here, meaning that I don't think you're going to be breaking above 365 anytime soon, and should be expecting some sideways and down from here, hoping for a higher low. Anywhere above 265 is okay. Below 265, there's a lot more downside. But until then, you know, I think you enter into a nice corrective period right here. I'm guessing, again, we see the same fucking thing again and again. Testing a prior breakdown area, this major high right here, you know, very likely to pull back from here and spend some time. So I think that you're done going up for a while. It's going to work its way sideways and down, but I'd be looking for higher lows above 265. Below 265, okay, something weird's going on and have to be pretty damn bearish. But, you know, when I look at the monthly, I'm inclined to say this one is going to continue on with the reversal and actually trade much higher long term. Monthly higher low, and that and basically got stopped right around the monthly range high. So yeah, I think that it will probably push through there. Simran S says, thoughts on Solana price this cycle? Like, I mean, I've done a lot of videos on Solana. I think generally Solana is going to, I mean, I think you're at least going to get like 350 to probably at least 400, you know, in the upcoming month or two. Can it trade above there? Sure. I know a lot of people are very, very bullish on it. They're looking for like, you know, 1,000 plus. I don't know. I'm not really of that opinion. You know, I think best case scenario does this this cycle. Okay, I shouldn't say best case scenario, but just my sort of how do I want to position this? Because I would take it one step at a time. The next major area of interest is actually 330. The one after that is 420, and then you got like 580 to 6 to like 660, 670. Those would be the ones that would be on my radar. I think that it probably will hit all of those, and then from there, I just want to see how things evolve. You know, calling for like 1,000 plus is kind of ridiculous right here. But yeah. Anyways, Big Bull says GOAT USD. Okay, this is Goatius Maximus. Goatius Maximus. Mexi, I guess. Okay, 4 hour and daily. All right, another very, very new one. So always difficult to do these ones. So I want to be very fucking forthright with that. Range low. Where's your range high? Somewhere here-ish. I'm kind of guesstimating on this one because there's just not a whole hell of a lot of history. You know, would I give it a chance to put in a higher low around the 69 cent region? I guess. Maybe a 4 hour is going to be easier. 4 hour time frame, hidden bearish divergence actually forming right here. So I would be looking for this one to come back down, swing back down, something like this, and then try for a higher low, and then try a bounce, and maybe bounce back up towards like close to $1 or something like that. But as long as you're below $1, you know, I don't really see anything like any sort of resolutions of this range. Of course, if you do break below 69 cents, I think it's less likely to happen. But if it did, I'd be looking for a much greater breakdown towards, you know, mid 50s. But until then, you know, probably something like this, man. Lots of drives of regular bullish evidence off of this low. So while I do think it probably gets one more swing somewhere down around here, that's probably going to be a higher low. Probably does rally off of that. All right, I need to take some more of this water. Gallo says, when bear market, or are you asking when bear market or if it's a bear market? Short Bitcoin or MicroStrategy, I do 1 year trades. I don't know. I really don't know. I would think MicroStrategy would probably be more lucrative. Again, this is assuming that you actually time this perfectly and you play this exactly perfectly. MicroStrategy would actually be more lucrative to short just because it plays higher beta to Bitcoin, meaning that, you know, for the same percentage move, for a move on Bitcoin, you're going to get a higher percentage move on MicroStrategy. And also, of course, you know, there's just insane things going on with MicroStrategy right now as well. Insane stuff that goes completely over my head, to be honest with you. So whenever I see something like that, you know, I think that thing has like more cracks potentially to affect it. But you know, look, if you really time it perfectly, shorting either one is going to be really fucking lucrative. Like, I mean, we're probably not talking about a significant difference here. But technically, MicroStrategy is higher beta, so it would theoretically be the better do. Justin Tomiak says, Tau, 4 hour and daily, provide your medical diagnosis, sir. All right, let's see. What sort of aids am I getting my eyes into right now? same thing as before. I'm guessing we looked at this last week for you, or maybe the week before that. Same thing as before. Holds this range most likely. I do think that it's going to try another move towards the top side of the range, like 610. I don't necessarily know if I'd say it's likely to break out on this next test, but holding within this range, long term, it probably does at some point. Just can take some time. Looking at the monthly, yeah, I do think that it will push through here, maybe over the next couple months. Even though actually the weekly, a little bit better. But the area in which I'd get very excited about this thing is very obviously above about 610 on a daily closing basis. At that point, probably retest all-time highs and make new highs. Yeah. It's just, I suspect that it takes some more time in here, but that can be very much variable. Obviously below about 408, big problems. Until then, sure. Probably follows the rest of the market. The Golby file says track BTC, origin trail. Okay, track BTC. Whoops. Like literally just said it, and then I typed something completely different. I am the lobotomized moron today. Daily, weekly. Okay. Definitely not the most interesting chart that we've seen today. That's fucking for sure. For the last 4 years, it's essentially been going sideways. Hasn't really had any significant trending moves either which way. But again, this is being plotted versus Bitcoin, right? So it's hard to outpace Bitcoin, I guess. Overall, I would just be looking for it to continue to hold this range. Obviously, you just hit the range low, so I think you're kind of in a bounty phase here. Probably tries back up towards, maybe 1,300, maybe even 1,500 Satoshis. Actually, pretty big jewel signal right here as well, to be fair. But, do I think that this thing is going to bust out of the top side of the range? It's hard. It's hard to say that because it never really has, and this thing continues to range. So I think, yes, it will move up from here, or basically from this base, but it moves up and then continues on with the range. It's probably what I'd be looking for, honestly. That's the weekly. Daily, same shit. I think it's generally putting in a low right here. You're going to see some ebbs and flows, but overall should try a little bit higher. Just not really like a trending move. Waves for Life says Popcat. We did that one earlier, so good there. David says render, 4-hour, 12-hour daily. Okay, RNDR. Let's see what render derp looks like. Renderp. Guess we go to Coinbase for this. And again, you are 4-hour, 12-hour daily. Right around your range highs here. Did break out of did most importantly, however, break out of this last prior swing high. So while it is at the next range high, I do think that, just like a lot of the things that we've seen today, you're in a bit of a short-term corrective phase. Sure, maybe it spikes up around 820, 840 one more time, then cools off, tries for a higher low, and then tries an actual upside move. But overall, good. It was significant that it actually traded and closed above your September highs. For now, short-term correction. I don't know how long it takes. And then I'd be looking for another try above 840 and above 840, especially on a weekly closure. This thing probably, very likely works its way into 2 digits, probably retest prior highs, maybe makes new highs. If you're on a 4-hour time frame, just, sideways consolidation right here. Short term, probably try to the upside, hidden bullish divergence. Not much else than that. Yeah. Take another sip of this water, man. Damn, we're working our way through these chats today, but goddamn, there's still a lot. El Kabong returns, says, "Hey Krown, what's up, man? ASML daily monthly, bottom more or less in." Let's see. I'm guessing this is a stock. Let's just see. Yeah, I'm guessing it's stock. Okay, on nows, and you are daily monthly. Okay, let's go to the monthly first. Is the bottom in? Okay, I do like long term that it does have one massive mega uptrend. That's always a good sign since 1995. You're right on the monthly 55, so it's a good place for a bounce, even if you're super bearish. Is the bottom in right here? I wouldn't say that just yet, honestly. you can't really confirm that the bottom is in until you get an actual, at least a reversal or confirmation of a local low, or at least a confirmation of a local low, and then preferably an actual reversal. This thing's not reversing anytime soon, with a higher high and a higher low, but you will confirm a local low if you can start to trade back above about 730. At that point, this starts to look a lot better as the next major low. But for now, I do think it's a good bounce area. Depending upon what time frame you're at, probably does try, a nice upside move from here, and then come back to it after that. Could very easily test like 780 ish region on a bounce. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that the low is in, but then again, it has not been a winning strategy long term on the monthly to be looking for it to remain below the 55. Often, unless if it's like an actual bear market, which you saw over here. This was, of course, 2002, and then again in 2008. Over here, it's just been a general uptrend. So I'm more inclined to say this is probably an opportunity. And yeah, I guess that would be a very highly likely next major low. Terrence Grogan says coin daily and weekly. Yes, let's check this one out. I'm always interested in this one. Let's see. Got daily right here. Daily again, corrective phase. Still holding the same range as we went into as we went over last week. I'd actually adjust the range a little bit further down towards 273, 275-ish region. I do think it can come a little bit lower here, maybe officially test around there, like 275. But again, I'm looking at that as a higher low. Yeah, there is technically divergence here forming on the weekly time frame, but I don't think that that's actually going to hold true. Yeah. I'm a lot more inclined to say that this one does work its way, kind of like, let me get my brush out. My brush, I'm going to paint some TAs, my LARP lines. 273 is a big pivot for me. If it starts to close below 273, okay, I'm wrong. Something else happening. That weekly divergence is going to play out. You're probably going to see this one fill the gap at like, I guess, $200. I do think that that's less likely to happen, especially when we look at the higher term time frames, like the monthly. The monthly is any sort of a monthly closure, which is coming in when? I think it's Friday. Yeah, Friday is the last trading day of the month. Any sort of monthly closure above 284, I look at this thing as confirming an actual major breakout. And while it is in a short-term daily time frame range, probably does continue on to the upside. So it's a monthly that I'd be paying attention to there. But yeah, I'll be wrong again below 273. That's where problems start to emerge. Let's see. Martin Hunt wants to look at the dwarf. The dwarf. I still have it on my list, even though I don't own it. We said back on over here, this is probably going to be at least a major high, and it certainly was. Now, if you are bullish, technically you should be looking for the higher low right here, pretty much exactly where it's at 60 or 600,000 or 6 million, whatever the fuck numbers that is. It's just, I don't trust, I really don't trust this thing, to be honest. But technically, if it was any other thing, like not a fucking meme coin, I'd be looking for something like this, and for it to try a bounce from here. And it probably does try a bounce from here, but calling a continuation to new highs from here, I think I would not be comfortable doing it until you're at minimum trading back above the is that 10 million? I don't know. It's too many decimal places for me to read out. I'm a lot more inclined to say that this thing, probably gets a short-term pop here, puts in a lower high, and then comes down. That would be my general, that would be my crystal ball thoughts, not really supported by much else other than I don't fucking trust this thing. But again, remember, this is the real chart right here. This has already been, I think, a 55% correction. So while I do think it will try a short-term bounce here, I'd be really fucking skeptical of it having any sort of major continuation. I will be wrong on that. Again, if you see it close above whatever the hell this number is on this green line, until then, I guess hopium is alive. And of course, to the downside, below, what was this, last Thursday's low? Yeah, this thing gets to fall apart quite a fair bit. Trade back down towards your October range. But for now, I guess kind of have to be looking for a bounce, even though I'm very skeptical of this one. Anyways, Joshua Montero says, could you let me know about Ondo Finance, please? Let you know. I don't know nothing about it. I'm guessing you want to look at charts, given the context of this stream. far as the project goes, fuck if I know. Has a cool name, I guess. Again, another one where you see a range play, pops up back around this last swing high on the weekly time frame. Very common to sell back down from there. You're already getting that. I mean, this is probably like a 20% correction, I'm guessing. Sorry, 16% correction. You know, overall good. It's just, does it bust through right here? Probably not. It probably tries a little bit of a short-term upside move, you know, gets rejected again at like 113, 114-ish region, somewhere around there, maybe 110, whatever it is, doesn't really matter. Comes back down, tries for a higher low, and then tries an actual upside move. But I do like the, well, I kind of like the monthly, I guess. Overall, just want to see a weekly closure above 113. At that point, this thing, you know, very likely tests around prior highs from 2024. Other than that, don't have much to say about it. I'd be bearish below 81 cents. It's not helpful at all because it's so fucking far away. But just again, another example of these massive moves creating massive ranges, which have massive percentage moves, which can still be a higher low. That's a very difficult thing about a lot of these ones. Charles McIver says, TPL, daily, weekly, is it sustainable? I'm guessing it's this thing, Texas Pacific Land Corporation. Is it sustainable? Okay. Wow. I don't know what they're doing, but it's really good. Look, I do think that you're going to be finding the high of this move very soon. The reason why I say that is because monthly, not daily, not weekly, but monthly volatility is actually already at extremes. It's already at 97 percentile. I mean, I suspect next month you'll see 100 percentile. So maybe it has more. Maybe it has more on top of this one, but you very likely find a high on this move December/January, and it goes into another consolidation. Now that consolidation again can result in another monthly higher low and continue on with a long-term uptrend, but I would say that the current fucking bullzooka to the upside is mostly done. Maybe you get one more shot a little bit higher, maybe closer to like $2,000 or something, hit that round even number, and then play out a very prolonged correction. Again, because it's a monthly time schedule, it can take a very, very long time. More plastic in my balls. Great. All right. Big Bull says ENA. Ethereum Name Service. Or is that right? No, that's ENS. Wow. Again, lobotomy has been initiated. Anyways, ENA daily. Okay, let me go to the weekly. Not seeing anything like super obvious right now. Still not seeing anything super obvious. 12-hour time frame wants up. Hidden bullish evidence come off this last low. Probably retest like 71, 72 cents. Not really seeing anything like super obvious to me, which makes me think it probably just tries another move to the upside, probably around 70 cents. Where does this thing start to actually initiate another breakout? I guess above 69.5. So if you do see closures above 70 cents, let's say, then this thing, I guess, gets to explode again, maybe closer to 80, 85. Until then, I think it tries a short-term upside move. But like many things that we've seen today, and just kind of put it into context of all the other shitcoins that we've seen today, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see it spike up here, boom, get rejected, come back down, try for the higher low, and then try an upside move. That's just, again, spidey sense bullshit. But, you know, I can tell you where I get bearish on it, below 47.5 cents. It's quite far away, but yeah. Again, big fucking ranges on these things. Tron Jeremy says, oh, I see what you did there. It's like Ron Jeremy, but Tron. Morning, sir. Been here since the very beginning in 2018. Have you changed your name? Because obviously I recognize your name from like the last few years, but Tron Jeremy, I feel like you had a different name in 2018, maybe. Anyways, with 4-hour and daily, I think we did this one earlier. Maybe we didn't do the 4-hour time frame, so maybe we could do that really quickly. 4-hour time frame tries for a short-term bounce here. Maybe back up towards like 320-ish. Doesn't really do too much for me, but you are seeing multiple drives of bullish divergence now coming off this low. So at least a short-term bounce, I'd say like 420-ish region. Good number. Maybe if it gets continuation from there, I guess you could trade up to the 4-hour range high, which would be about 350, 355. Again, invalidated below about 290 on a 4-hour closing basis, then problems. But until then, I think you're more in for a bounce here than not. Davey says, memes AI. Memes AI. Okay. All right. I'm going in. Well, it's not much of a chart so far. Let's see. I mean, obviously you're in an hourly downtrend, which is what you're actually asking about right now. I am seeing, however, off of this last few lows, you're seeing a lot of drives of bullish divergence. So I am inclined to say that it's probably going to bounce out of this region. But the question to me is, does it get another retest somewhere down around like, 4 cents or maybe a little bit below 4 cents, test these lows from the last couple days here and then try for a bounce? Perhaps yes. Keep in mind though, this one's in a pretty nasty downtrend for right now on the lower term timeframes, and on the higher term timeframes, obviously. On the higher term timeframes, we barely have a chart because it hasn't been around for that long. But I am inclined to say that it is in a bouncy territory right here. Probably trades up, maybe closer to like 5 cents or perhaps even 5.5, 6 cents. So I'd give it a chance to bounce here. 4-hour time frame does have some regular bullish divergence, so probably an overall bounce. I don't think it's going to break down on this range just yet. Tries for a bounce first and come back to it after that, I guess. Joey Burden says, Mog, 4-hour daily. Thank you, sir. All good, man. Mog coin, 4-hour. Okay, I do want to see what a daily looks like. Yeah, okay, long-term, hard chart to hate. Does hold the long-term uptrend. Again, the trend is your friend until the end of the trend. Your last higher low coming in at 20,000. So that's a lot of room for failure there, or a lot of wiggle room there. What makes these ones so difficult is that you could easily get a really nasty correction here all the way down to like 17,000, and it wouldn't do shit. It wouldn't mean shit for the chart. God, this one I'm actually really struggling with. I'm inclined to say, based off of the analysis of most of the other shitcoins, which mostly move together, this thing is probably going to try for a bounce here towards like 25,000 in the short term. But I really don't have strong opinions on it other than that. I like the uptrend. I do think it could correct further to the downside, and it really wouldn't mean much in terms of this trend. That's what's holding me back here from being a little bit more aggressive or stating things in a little more aggressive tone. But if I had to call it, tries for a bounce kind of around here. If that bounce brings it back above Monday's high, this thing's going to continue on with new all-time highs, like very obviously. So that, I guess that would be the obvious signal that I'd be looking for. Krister Forland says, what is worst case for Solana on high time frames? Well, worst case is always 0. It's just low probability. Worst case is that you do fail this like 225 to 230-ish region right here, come back down towards 200, try for a bounce, fail that, and then come all the way down to like 150. That would be like a somewhat reasonable worst case scenario in my opinion. I don't think that's happening, but I don't really know what you mean by worst case scenario, because worst case scenario is always 0. So yeah, maybe that could be performed in like a different way, because I don't think I'm giving a great answer there anyways. Colin Maker says AKT on Gate.io. AKT. A derp network. Not bad on the weekly, actually. Again, back around these range highs. It's already kind of gotten its pullback from there. Actually, it's literally... no, we've charted this one before. Yeah. So it's already had a pretty significant pullback from that test. Short term, I mean... It's like a lot of the other ones. I think it's going to take some time here. Short term probably tries an upside move, maybe trades, like 420, 430-ish region again. But I don't think this is the move that like blasts on through and makes new all-time highs, or breaks the range here above 470. But maybe after a short-term upside move, gets another pullback, puts in a higher low, and then it tries that move. Monthly, yeah, I think it's very likely to push through. Let's see what the line chart looks like. Yeah, I do think that this one will eventually pull through. It's just, is it happening on this exact move right here? I think it corrects a little bit longer and then tries that move. That's what I'd be inclined to say. All right. Actually, that was the last one. Holy shit. Nice. All right. We are at the end. Oh, thinking about the name. You're always last, man. You know what? I'll do one last one for you, man. Just because I'm here, just because I see it, just because you're an OG, and I always feel really bad if people send in a super chat and then it's like, fuck you, I'm ending. FTM retesting the high, or yeah, around the highs here. Again, on extreme volatility. You know, this is a corrective area that it's coming into. Somewhere, whoops, not there. My damn magnets are not exact. There we go. So, you know, might spike into this region a few more times, but this is a corrective region. Very likely pops back down after spending some time around here. Then you try for a higher low, and then maybe, God willing, it actually tries a real breakout to the upside. T King says 85 cents for FTM would be healthy. It could easily correct down to 85 cents. Yeah, I agree. It wouldn't take too much. Yeah, there you go. Moi moi. Else is going to ballet or some shit. No, I do not stream on Twitch as my main. In fact, I haven't been on Twitch in a long time, man. But I want to be more active on YouTube. I'm just trying to find the good time slot for this. Anyways, I think that's a good place for us to leave off for today. Long term as in 1 month, 1 year. How long could this take? I think it might take probably most of December. But I do think you probably make new highs on this, not new all-time highs, but new highs from this rally above your March highs, either December or January. That I do think. Yeah, looks quite ready to me. Uptrends on all of the timeframes that matter. Just, let it consolidate a little bit of time. All right, guys, it's been a great stream. Been a nice, fun time despite my absolutely autistic, outraging bursts, which are necessary for my sanity sometimes. Anyways, I want to say thank you to all of our moderators for keeping everyone safe and making the stream nice and easy. Of course, all the people joining in as well. It's been some good conversations as always, and we'll be back on maybe even again tomorrow or Friday with another live stream, and then definitely one last one here next week, and then it's back to Finland. All right. It's been an absolute pleasure, everyone. Take care. Much love, and see you hopefully